already know this is PUNSH Wrong Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Ladies and gentlemen, this topic's gonna be a difficult one, y'all. You gotta admit, this topic, you read the title, is gonna be a difficult one to discuss. Now, there's gonna be out there, people gonna be like, but come on, PUNSH Drunk. Manny Pacquiao, 8 division world champions. I consider Manny Pacquiao as the greatest of all time. The GOAT. I said, the GOAT. The GOAT, I say. Yes. But it's just this subject that I feel a lot of people haven't even discussed. They discussed it, but in a separate way, but not matching it when it comes to greatness. Not matching it the way I'm about to discuss it and match it. Because I feel like it could tamper with my belief of Manny Pacquiao is the GOAT. The GOAT! It may tamper with it. Because, of course, a lot of people arguably going to be like, who's the greatest of all time? I say Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people going to say Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all times. They're going to say Sugar Ray Robinson, which is arguably. They're going to say Sugar Ray Leonard, which is arguably. They're going to say I am Mike Tyson, because it's arguably. But there's this cat. There's this pound-for-pound fighter. 4 division world titleist. Went from 154 to the heavyweight. Only 2 men in the history of boxing have done that. Only 2 men in the history have done that. And the man we're going to be talking about is Roy Jones Jr., Mr. Pound for Pound for a decade, baby. I'm telling you, Roy Jones Jr. had the skills like if Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard had a baby. That's Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. right now, in my opinion, I don't give a damn. I would debate. This is not even debatable in my opinion. The most skillful fighter. He is the evolution of speed and power. Never seen hands like it. Never seen the combination of it. Never seen the quadruple hooks. Ba, 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 ba. Never. Never. The going into a fight without getting hit. Going to a round without getting hit. The reflexes, the best reflexes we have ever seen in the sport of boxing. The jabs, the feints, the hooks, the uppercut, the whap, 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 whap. Woo! Roy Jones Jr. But this is something that they analyze Roy Jones Jr. when it comes to engaging his greatness, engaging his greatness to other fighters. They've been unfair to Roy Jones Jr. The boxing pugilist has been unfair, and the media has been unfair when assessing his career. Because what most of the people say, practically all of them in the mass media platform, that if Roy Jones Jr. if he would have retired after the Ruiz, and he probably would have been the greatest. But after losing to Antonio Tarver, then his career went, and then we can't gauge him into greatness. But why? We don't do that to Muhammad Ali. Look at the last years in Muhammad Ali's career. He lost. Mike Tyson. Can you remember the last fight that beat Mike Tyson? We don't gauge his career after it. We already know Mike Tyson had like 9 years without being Iron Mike Tyson. But at the end of the day, we still look at him as baddest man of the time. But we still don't take nothing away from Mike Tyson, because in the end of his career, he lost some fights. In the end of Julio Cesar Chavez's career, he lost some fight, but we don't care about that. We don't even look at the fights that he lost. We only look at him as Julio Cesar Chavez. We remember he was 80-something and 0. That's what we remember, right? We don't take nothing away from Julio Cesar Chavez because he lost in the last leg of his career, when he was not even in his prime, when Mike Tyson not even in his prime, when Muhammad Ali's not even in his prime, right? But why do they do that to Roy Jones Jr.? Why? Why, when it comes to Roy Jones Jr., they want to emphasize and want to implement when you analyze his career and when you try to gauge his greatness to what he did after Antonio Tarver when he got knocked out, and then he lost to Kawasaki, and then he lost against Bernard Hopkins, and then he got knocked out by Glenn Johnson and things of that nature. Do you remember that Roy Jones Jr. was only 35 when he lost his real first fight? Because of course he lost to Griffin, but we already know. We already know. He beat his ass and avenged that rematch. But why? Why is it Roy Jones Jr.? Why do we try to diminish Roy Jones Jr. to step somebody up into greatness? See, that's what I'm trying to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm trying to talk about. And I want to gauge is the question and I want to tap into the title. The question is, what reign is harder, is more difficult, is better. The fourth division world title, the fourth division world title list when Roy Jones was pound for pound the best dude in the sport of boxing, up to when he got beaten by Antonio Tarver. And let me just add that when he fought Antonio Tarver the first time, Roy Jones beat him. Came back from heavyweight, came right back down to division weight class. Nobody in the history of the sport of boxing have come two weight classes back down and win. Nobody has done that but Roy Jones Jr. It is hard. That is dropping like 25 to 30 pounds. You're going from heavyweight to lightweight. Now, a lot of people gonna be like, come on, Punch Drunk. Manny Pacquiao, 8th division world titles. We never gonna see Manny Pacquiao, 8th division world titles. We never gonna see that in the sport of boxing. Came from 106 pounds, went to the the welterweight division. I think the most he ever weighted was against Margarito. I think it was 148 on fight night. He jumped on the scale, 144. The heaviest he's probably ever weighted in was probably 147, 146 something. Because we already know Manny Pacquiao came from the ranks. He's a little dude beating up the big dudes. The little dudes beating up the big dudes. The little dude beating up the big dudes. Man, you thought you were going to bully Manny Pacquiao in the school and check the school lunch. He will beat your ass. He will beat the teacher. Manny Pacquiao was that special. But of course, Manny Pacquiao also has had his hiccups. Manny Pacquiao also has had his hiccups just like any other great. He have lost just like any other great. But of course, his relevancy versus Keith Tom Thurman, you know what I'm saying? That's when you know he's special at the age of 40, beating these young bucks, these young lions like Keith Tom Thurman, which I consider he was the #1 welterweight because he unified in this little era. Manny Pacquiao came and be like, era ain't over. But we don't take nothing away from Manny Pacquiao. We don't take nothing away from Mike Tyson. We don't take nothing away from Muhammad Ali. We don't take nothing away from Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard. We don't take nothing about the Jack Johnson, Joe Louis. Nobody. We don't take the greatness out of him. We don't take Roberto Duran. How many times did Roberto Duran lost? Even Roberto Duran, a lot of people have him as 2, 3 greatest of all time. But look how many people he lost to. He lost to Hearns. He lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. Yes, he beat Sugar Ray Leonard, but he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard and he quit. He lost to Wilfredo Benitez. He lost to a lot of dudes in their prime of the golden era, but they still give credit to Roberto Duran. They never worry. They never mention all the times that yes, he challenged himself, but he did lose. We didn't mention Roberto Duran in his later career. We still gauge him as top 5 greatest of all time. A lot of people, a lot of pugilists grade Roberto Duran as top 5 greatest of all time. But look at his resume. We don't gauge him in his later leg. We don't even. What was his last 10 fights? We don't know. Why do we do that with Roy Jones Jr. though? Why we diminish and devalue Roy Jones Jr.'s greatness? Because Roy Jones Jr. did everything at the age of 35. Roy Jones Jr. was ahead of his class. Roy Jones Jr. was ahead of his time. Roy Jones Jr. was 35 years old out his prime. He was nothing left for him to do. So for you to gauge his last legs, it's unjust. It's unjust. So I got to clarify that for the people out there so you can understand where I'm going with this. And so you can help me out because, of course, this is the community. This is Punch Drunk Boxing channel. This is for the hardcore boxing community. So you could leave the comment and we could chop it up. You already know I answer to anybody. You already know subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Get my updated videos. Let's get that thing out of the way. You know that I'll chop it up with you. It's just educating ourselves. Give me your input. I give you mine. And we come to the concrete understanding of what this concept is all about and what this subject is all about. So let's move on to the nitty gritty. So Roy Jones Jr., right? 4th division world titleist, came from 154, right? How many weights is that to reach the heavyweight? 154, right? 154, super welterweight. He started his career. 200 pounds, heavyweight. Yeah, he weighed in, I think, 193. But let's say he's fighting a guy that's 33 pounds over him in John Ruiz. So right there, look at that advantage that Roy Jones is giving this guy. 33 pounds. He weighed in 193. This guy weighed in 120 something. Boom, 33. He's giving him 33 pounds. That's incredible. Becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. Nothing left to prove after that. So if you add the weight And then you add, because it sounds more. It sounds, look, Manny Pacquiao 8th division world titles, but he started on 106, ended up in a welterweight 147. If you add up the weight and you add up the weight of Roy Jones Jr., just because he got 4 and this guy got 8, that doesn't mean in weight range, Manny Pacquiao, it's not that much of a difference if you look at it. It's just the weight classes. You know, in the small weight classes, the weight classes are actually like close to one another. Understand what I'm trying to say? When you go up the weight classes, actually jumps more. 154, 160, 168, 175. Heavyweight. That's what I want you to understand. That's why I said, what reign was more difficult, was better? The 4th division world title, the 4th division reign, which he won his first title versus Bernard Hopkins in the middleweight. You already know he beat James Toney, which at that time probably was regarded as pound for pound dude in the sport of boxing. The best defensive fighter at that time. He beat everybody that was ranked. He went to the heavyweight. He beat Griffin, who beat James Toney. So for the people saying, oh, Griffin was just, no, Griffin he was a high-ranked fighter. So we all know that Manny Pacquiao has beaten, look at his reign. And more of Manny Pacquiao's reign, he beat the likes and the Hall of Fame caliber of fighters like Oscar De La Hoya, like Cotto, like Margarita. I believe he's a Hall of Famer, but Shane Mosley, Margarita, Ricky Hatton, all these caliber good fighters. But it was more of a 5 and 6 reign, because also Manny Pacquiao has lost, whether we like it or not, whether we think that he got robbed or not. Manny Pacquiao got L's. Got L's with Timothy Bradley. Got L's with Marquez. He also beat Juan Marquez, but also got an L with Marquez. Got an L with Jeff Horn. So we understand that probably he got robbed by Timothy Bradley. Probably got robbed by Jeff Horn, but also Roy Jones Jr. got robbed when the Griffin fight. I believe that he got robbed. And maybe Roy Jones Jr. wanted to come back and fight a rematch with Antonio Tarver after he beat him, because he really in his mind wanted that 50-0, because he was 49-1. But we know that 1 was never a real loss. In his mind, he wanted that 50-0. Maybe Roy Jones just got a little greedy, because we already know Roy Jones got nothing left to prove. Had nothing left to prove. There's no fighter out there. He couldn't get the fight with Holyfield. He couldn't get the fight with Mike Tyson. It was nobody there left. Nothing left to prove. At the age of 35, 2004, that's when he lost to Antonio Tarver, 35 years old, and we're going to gauge and we're going to devalue his greatness after 35 years old? Is that fair? Most 35 years old are retired. That's what I got a problem with. So let's gauge it with Manny Pacquiao. How many pounds is that? How many pounds? 106, started at 106. 147. 40. 154. So almost 200. 40. So when I say 8th division world champion, yes, it sounds way more than 4th division world titleist. But if you look at the weight range, it's almost the same thing. So the question is, which reign is actually better? Which one was actually harder? 154 going to the heavyweight, or 106 going to welterweight? Now that's the discussion. Now that's where we got to go to the nitty gritty and really be fair. You already know I break things down unbiasedly, logically, and objectively. Like I said in the beginning, I believe that Manny Pacquiao is the greatest of all time. I grew up idolizing Roy Jones Jr. when I was a little itty baby, right? But think about it, y'all. Think about it, y'all. Look at the weight range. Manny Pacquiao 106 again, ended up at welterweight 147. Roy Jones Jr. 154, ended up at heavyweight. What's the difficulties? There is difficulties in that. And I believe a lot of people, they don't really, I think they brush it off. I think people will be like, oh, Roy Jones Jr., but his highlights was good. But they never really get into the nitty gritty of how difficult it is. Because we get into the nitty gritty of, wow, Manny Pacquiao, 8th division world titleist. Why we say 8th division world titleist? because we feel he accomplished more. He got more belts. Wait. Count the belts. Count the belts that Manny Pacquiao had, and count the belts that Roy Jones Jr. achieved. Has Manny Pacquiao ever been undisputed? Has Roy Jones Jr. been undisputed? Has he carried 4 belts, all belts at one time? See, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Roy Jones Jr. made his reign more in the lightweight division. That's where he got when he got most of his belts. But got a belt in middleweight, got a belt in super middleweight, got a belt in lightweight, and got a belt in heavyweight. That is difficult, ladies and gentlemen. If it's 2 guys that could do it, of course, look, it's 2 guys that's ever done that in the sport of boxing, and there's only 1 guy in the sport of boxing that ever had a division world title. So I understand it. That's how it's hard. And who's the other person that has done it? Sugar Ray Robinson, y'all. Which a lot of people in the sport of boxing believe that he's one of the greatest. So why when Roy Jones Jr. does it, why he's not top 5 in a lot of people's lists? Why he's not top 10? Think about it, y'all. Why are they devaluing Roy Jones Jr. like they don't devalue everybody else? Think about it. Manny Pacquiao's the only, and I believe the only one that's ever going to do it. That's ever going to do it. 8 division world titleist, right? Roy Jones Jr., 4 division world titles, but went from 154 to heavyweight. The only man that ever done it was Sugar Ray Robinson, which many also believe that he is the greatest. So Roy Jones Jr. is in the mix of one of the greatest of all time. Now, of course, gonna be I remember when it was on, when it was live, when it was in the present time, Roy Jones Jr. is in his reign and doing what he was doing. Remember, Roy Jones Jr. was a reign. He was pound for pound for a decade. Nobody in the sport of boxing been pound for pound for a decade in a lot of people's mind. So I'm saying for a whole decade, bro, for a whole decade, which is harder? I just want to know. Help me out, y'all. Because this one is difficult, bro. This one is difficult, ladies and gentlemen. This one is probably the hardest discussion I have ever had in boxing. If you really want to go unboxing logically and objectively. Now, has Manny Pacquiao beaten more world titleists? Yes. Has Manny Pacquiao probably beaten more Hall of Fame caliber fighters? Yes. But also, we have to also implement one thing. We have to implement this when we gauging everything, right? Manny Pacquiao has fought those type of fights, but we got to remember 3 fights, which is like, you know what? I'm not going to say Manny Pacquiao had the advantage, but you could say in negotiations, it worked to Manny Pacquiao's advantage, though. And I contradicted myself right there, but Margarito was catchweight, Cotto was catchweight, and he fought Oscar De La Hoya in 147 pounds, who hasn't been a welterweight in the past 7 years before fighting Manny Pacquiao. And we saw how Manny Pacquiao obliterated. Now people gonna be like, but what's 3 pounds? What's 2 pounds? Like Cotto, what's that? What's that, Margarito? What's that? A couple of pounds? What's that? Remember, these guys took the fight to cater to Pacquiao's needs because they felt that he's a little guy. Now, of course, that's the advantage. We all know that Manny Pacquiao is a little dude, and which is really probably a light welterweight. He's really 135 pounds, you know? But they complimented Manny Pacquiao because it's harder to come down than go up. Manny Pacquiao could gain power. These guys could be weak and lose power. Think about it, y'all. So, if we're going to gauge everything, let's gauge everything. Let's gauge everything. And those are probably the best obliterated performance versus these caliber fighters. If you think about it, the worst beating that Pacquiao gave dudes is those 3 guys because those guys were supposed to be way bigger than Manny Pacquiao. But they had to come down. Let's not say that this was just a regular. Remember, the 145 pounds they was fighting at welterweight. And the commission said, okay, we could make the fight official with Cotto. We fight 145. So let's put things in perspective. Everybody got their leeways in this. Manny Pacquiao has had his leeway in his career. So which one is harder? Both of them is going up 40-something pounds. Which one is harder? For 106 pounds to become a welterweight champion of the world, that's freaking hard. For 154 pounds to become a heavyweight champion of the world, that's hard. And probably more hard. You know why? Because once you enter the heavyweight, you could be as heavy as you want to be. That's why he was fighting John Ruiz, who was like 30 pounds over. See, Manny Pacquiao's not going to go to welterweight and let's say, oh, he's going to fight a welterweight fight. And let's say Oscar De La Hoya is going to be 160 pounds on weigh-in and then come back strong 180 pounds on fight night. It's not like that. Right? So, which one is harder? Which one is more, it's hard to accomplish? Because it's hard to accomplish 8 division world titles. It's hard to accomplish. And if we want to take the notion of 8 division world titles and 4 division, it's hard to go in shape. Because this is not, oh, I'm getting fat. This is not James Toney, you know, getting bloated and he can't make the weight because he's bloated. Nah. This is in shape Roy Jones Jr. This is in shape Manny Pacquiao. If you just think about the weight, it's hard. It's hard. You know what? I got to do this part 1 because you know what? This is going to be part 1 of this. Because this is the good discussion. And I want your input. Leave your comment at the bottom. Let's chop it up. Which is more difficult? Which reign is more better? The 4 division world title reign that Roy Jones Jr. had, the 10-year, the decade pound for pound cannibal fighter that practically ended in 2003. In 2004, excuse me. At 35 years old. At 35 years old. Don't tell me that you was looking forward for Roy Jones Jr. after the Ruiz fight. Because who's going to fight? Nobody knew who was going to fight. He had to come all the way down to fight Antonio Tarver. Or Manny Pacquiao 8 division world titles go from 106 to 147. Which one is harder? Which one should be more accomplished? Remember, there's more divisions within the 106 to welterweight than from 154 to heavyweight. Is it? Bantamweight, super bantamweight, lightweight, super lightweight, super lightweight, flyweight, super flyweight. I think, is it or is it the same? It's a discussion, y'all. It's a discussion. I love this. Let me know what you think. You already know this is Punch Unboxing. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to get my updated videos. I love y'all. Stay safe. God bless. On to the next. Oh, also, if you want to donate to the channel, you'll remember you got to go... You gotta donate to the channel. Go to Cash App, $ Punch Drunk, and also new podcast is out. First episode, go check it out. Spotify, new podcast is out. The Smelling Salt. The Smelling Salt. You know why I call it the Smelling Salt? Because when you get knocked out, I am the Smelling Salt. I'm going to wake your ass up. And I'm going to wake up the sport of boxing, baby, with the boxing content. The podcast, The Smelling Salt. Go check it out in Spotify. Already have 2 episodes. The number 1 episode was Manny Pacquiao, the greatest of all time. Go check it out. Y'all going to love it. The Filipino people out there and Manny Pacquiao fans and the sport of boxing in general. And again, you could also debate that. The second episode, which I dropped 2 days ago, Devin Haney and the importance of the racist comment that he made. Of course, in the end of the day, I want him to get over it. Haney is a good, special young fighter and stuff like that. But that's just a discussion that we want to talk about because it gets deeper than just Devin Haney. It gets deeper as the community of boxing and what could hinder those type of words and what the bad energy it does give to people itself. Remember, we are one race. Forget about the black, white, Latin, Hispanic, Asian, all that. We're just one race under one God, baby. You already know, man. Keep God first, everything second. Fight plus survive equals true champions. You already know I love y'all. God bless. On to the next.